everyone, this is Kim Ellis from Kim Ellis Embracing Souls, your emotional well-being and wellness educator. I'm so thrilled that you've joined me today as we move into the next decade. How exciting to be able to move into a new decade, new energy. I hope you all left that old energy and the old belief systems and things that weren't serving you in the past, because it's no point dragging all that with us. Today I wanted to really just share my heart with you about, I've been doing some emotional well-being things myself, and I wanted to share with you some of the things that have really turned the light bulbs on for me. As we all know, we all go through life going through many different challenges and many things through our whole life, and sometimes those things really throw us off the track and really take its toll on us. So to be able to leave those old paradigms behind is a really great thing to do. So I really wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I've learned through my emotional wellbeing course, and that is a lot to do with Bob Proctor and breaking through the terror barrier. And this is something that really resonated with me, just to really understand what holds us back. As we embrace this new year, this new decade, and we start to set ourselves some goals and set ourselves some I guess, just visualize or kind of create what we want our life to look like, whether it's in the next 6 months, the next year, the next 12 months, 5 years, whatever it is that you want, to be able to have a little bit of an idea what you want your life to do. Otherwise, we're just drifting along like a boat in the sea, and we kind of like stuck out there with a boat with no rudder going round in circles. So I always set the intention of what I want my year to look like, what I want my next 5-year plan. But even so, I even break it down to 6 months. What are some of the things that I want to set the intention for my life, and what do I want that to look like? So obviously when I start to set those intentions and start to create, to set some boundaries and things, what I want my life to look like in the next 6 months, there's always these, in my subconscious mind, always these things that keep coming up, like, oh, you can't do that, or you're not good enough, or what are people going to think about you, or all of those negative emotions or limiting beliefs or paradigms, whatever you want to call it. So what I really, for me, it's really changing those paradigms. And when our mind is so very powerful, and we can change those paradigms that we have set up in our subconscious mind. But the first thing we use is understanding, is one, acknowledging what they are, and then understanding how do we create a new neurological pathway within the brain, which is neuroplasticity. Our brain's an incredible complex organ or piece of machinery, whatever you want to call it, and we can change our paradigms. We can really change our paradigms. So if you feel like you've been circling your life in the same paradigms, it's the same things that keep showing up, the same obstacles keep showing up, the same emotions keep showing up. Bob Proctor calls it the terror wall. What stops people from breaking through the terror wall? And I love that analogy, because I can visualize on one side of the terror wall is fear, because we've talked about before that there's really only two emotions. You can operate your life from a place of fear, which are things like, so many things are in the fear basket, that resentment, betrayal, that hate, that anger, all of those things fit into the fear basket. They're all based from a fear background. Or on the other side of the terror wall is what we call freedom or love. It's total freedom and in control of your life. Now, we all have a terror wall, every single one of us. Doesn't matter how much work we've done on ourselves, we all have a terror wall. And it depends how many things we have to work on, or how many lessons that we need to get, or lessons that we get in life, is how thick our terror wall is. So we kind of need to start to break down that terror wall. What is it that stops you breaking through that terror wall? You know, is things like when we start to set those intentions of what we want our life to look like in the next 6 months, 12 months, even a month. What are some of the things, or even a day? What are some of the emotions that are coming up? Is it things like worrying about what other people think about you? Is it things like failing? You just put yourself straight into, what if I don't do this? What if I can't do this? So we don't even go past that terror wall. We just keep cycling back in a circle, back around on the other side in the fear, back on the fear wall. We keep, we don't break any boundaries. We don't set ourselves a space to grow in, because we keep cycling back into the other side of the terror wall, which is in the fear wall. And most of us spend a fair bit of time in the fear, in the other side. So what is it that's coming up? Until we acknowledge what's coming up, until we acknowledge it and bring it into our awareness, we can't work on it. So the first thing is to acknowledge what's coming up. What is it that's coming up? Is it worrying about what other people think? Is it fear of failure? Is it a fear, or is it anger that keeps coming up? Or is it betrayal that keeps coming up? Or is it sadness that keeps coming up? What is it that keeps coming up for you that stops you getting through that terror wall, breaking those old cycles and paradigms, and whether they've been there, that have been there epigenetically, that's come through on our DNA, on our coding when we're born, because there's a lot of stuff that's already on our coding, on our DNA. Is it something that's happened to us as a little girl, or a little boy? Is it something that somebody has said to us when we were a small child, that we've created a story around that? Because what I want you to really understand, that all of those paradigms, or all of those things that can't keep coming up at the terror wall, they're all BS. They're absolute BS. They're stories that we've created, or stories that somebody else has told us that we've taken on as their stories, because they're not true. They're like little gremlins that creep into your brain, and they're in your subconscious mind. And half the time that we're running on all of these programs that are not true. They're BS. They're little gremlins that keep running in the background. And until we can shut them down, shut those little gremlins down, stop with the BS, and then start to move into our own paradigms, because your brain is so incredibly powerful that it can create a new story, a new paradigm, a new belief system that is true to you. It's like we're running on we've got our Apple computer. Our brain is an Apple computer, and we're running on Mac software. We're running on this old software, or a software that doesn't belong to our computer system, to our brain. So we're running on all these old limiting beliefs and all these old programs that are BS. They're not even true to our belief system. So can I just encourage you to do a little bit of work around that? What is it? What are those programs that you're running on? So the first thing is to acknowledge what those things are at the terror wall. What are they? Is it not feeling good enough? And it usually comes back to self-love, self-belief, that we compare ourselves to others, which is the absolute biggest robber of joy. We're all put on this planet as incredible human beings with so much to offer, not only ourselves to complete happiness, but to offer and help others and be a service to others. But before we can really start to find that real joy in our life, that real sense of peace, to actually start to create what we want our life to look like, the people that we want in our life, the happiness that we want to create, not what somebody else has labeled us, put on us, their belief system. Send it back to them, because that's their paradigm, that's their BS, it's not your BS. So start to think about what are some of those things, because you're not on this planet just to exist. We're actually on this planet to be in a place of joy, to be in a place of love, to be in a place of service, not just to exist. 95% of people are just existing. We want to start living. We want to start creating this amazing life and building our own masterpiece, not be stuck in old paradigms that don't serve us. So if you're thinking it's all right for that person, or it's all right for that person, or I can't do that, I want you to stop right now. And I want you to visualize this terror wall, and I want you to start to understand what's stopping you at your terror wall. So spend a bit of time this week, really start to be truly honest with yourself. And when you can start being honest with yourself, we can start to kick those old paradigms to the curb, because they don't serve you. And I want you to start poking your toes through that terror wall and start to create those belief systems that do serve you, because you are perfectly good enough. You are perfect the way you are, and you have so much to offer others. So thank you for tuning in with me today. I'm so grateful to be back with you all, and we've got some great things coming your way. But just remember that terror wall, it's time to break through that terror wall. So see you next episode. Make sure you tune into my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm so grateful that you're part of my world. Bye for now.